The stars were quiet that night, their distant light stretching across the vast blackness of space. Captain Elena Voss stood on the observation deck of the human starship Aurora, staring at the bright blue and green planet below. Illyria Prime, home of the mysterious Illyrians, was unlike anything humans had ever seen. Floating crystal towers shimmered in the sunlight, and delicate, iridescent trees stretched high into the sky. The planet seemed alive in a way that made Elena's chest tighten with awe and nervous anticipation. Elena had been chosen to lead the first diplomatic mission to this planet because of her experience, her calm under pressure, and, most importantly, her ability to understand people. She knew that this mission would not just be about science or technology. It would be about trust, understanding, and the careful bridge building that could decide the fate of humans in this corner of the galaxy. The Illyrians themselves were unlike any species humans had studied. They were tall, elegant beings, their skin a subtle mix of pastel colors that shifted with their emotions. They moved gracefully, almost floating above the ground, and their eyes glowed softly when they focused their attention. Their communication was partly verbal but mostly telepathic, which made it both beautiful and challenging to understand. Among them, Lyra, a young Illyrian scientist, watched the humans with wide, curious eyes. Her attention was fixed on Elena, on the way she moved and spoke, and above all, on the way humans seemed to radiate a combination of courage and unpredictability. When the human shuttle landed in a softly glowing landing bay, a group of Illyrians approached. They did not speak immediately, but a wave of emotions washed over the humans: curiosity, caution, and something almost like admiration. Elena stepped forward and gave the universal gesture of peace, extending her hand. Lyra hesitated at first. She had never been so close to a human before, and their presence stirred something inside her she could not explain. It was more than curiosity. It was fascination, a deep magnetic pull toward a species that seemed so fragile yet somehow unstoppable. When Elena shook her hand, Lyra felt a small spark of connection, a whisper in her mind that said humans were different, and she wanted to understand why. The first few hours were awkward. The humans tried to communicate with words, gestures, and translators, while the Illyrians shared emotions and images directly into their minds. Lyra found herself overwhelmed by the intensity of the humans' emotions. There was fear, yes, but also hope, determination, and a kind of stubborn courage that she had never felt before. Humans, she realized, were messy, complicated, and endlessly surprising. During the guided tour of the city, Elena and her team marveled at the Illyrians' technology. Crystalline structures pulsed with light as energy moved through them, and holographic displays floated in mid-air, showing data in a way that seemed almost alive. Yet for all their beauty, Elena noticed something that surprised her. The Illyrians' reliance on precision and order meant that they often hesitated when faced with uncertainty. They excelled at planning, but humans thrived in chaos. Humans could make a decision in a split second, adapt and act, even when all the information was not available. Lyra, observing this, felt an unusual thrill. Elena led her team to a research lab where humans and Illyrians could work together. The task was simple in theory: study the planet's energy field to understand a series of unstable phenomena affecting nearby star systems. But in practice, it was incredibly dangerous. The energy field was volatile, and one wrong move could have catastrophic consequences. While the humans began their analysis, Lyra floated nearby, studying their methods. She was fascinated by how quickly they adapted, how fear did not paralyze them but sharpened their senses. One human, a young engineer named Matteo, noticed her watching. He smiled warmly, a simple human gesture of friendliness that made Lyra's mind tingle in ways she could not name. She realized then that her fascination was more than academic. She admired humans, their courage, and their ability to turn danger into action. As the day turned into night, the sky above Illyria Prime shifted colors, reflecting the planet's unique atmosphere. The humans gathered around a small campfire set up by the Illyrians for their comfort, sharing stories of Earth, of human history, and of challenges they had overcome. Lyra floated just outside the circle, listening. She had learned about wars, disasters, and countless obstacles humans had faced and survived. She realized that humans were resilient not just because of their technology, but because of their spirit, their determination to keep going, no matter what. It was then that Lyra felt something she had never felt before. She felt a longing, a desire to connect, not just intellectually but emotionally. She wanted to understand humans completely, to be near them, to share in their experience. The thought frightened her. Illyrians did not usually experience such intense attachment to other species, and yet she could not deny it. Her heart, or whatever part of her controlled these emotions, beat faster every time she looked at Elena. Elena noticed Lyra watching and smiled, a simple gesture that bridged the gap between species. It was enough to make Lyra feel a rush of something indescribable. She floated closer, careful not to intrude but unable to resist the pull. For the first time, an Illyrian had chosen to step beyond caution, drawn toward the messy, unpredictable nature of humanity. The humans worked late into the night, analyzing data and making adjustments to their instruments. Lyra stayed nearby, learning, observing, and feeling increasingly overwhelmed. Every human decision, every act of bravery or clever improvisation, fascinated her. She wanted to be part of it, to participate in this strange energy humans carried within them. Her fascination began to feel like a need, a whisper in her mind that said, "I want to understand them fully. I want to be near them." When the first signs of success appeared, when the instruments detected a pattern in the energy field, Elena looked around at her team with pride. Matteo raised his hand in a small cheer, and Lyra felt a surge of joy that mirrored theirs. It was different from anything she had felt before. It was shared excitement, a connection across species born of admiration and respect. She realized that humans were not just another intelligent species. They were extraordinary, alive in ways that transcended what Illyrians had ever imagined. As the night deepened, Lyra found herself whispering to herself, almost afraid to speak aloud. "I can't take it anymore. I want to understand them so badly." Her words were private, but the intensity of her emotions made them nearly tangible. For the first time, she questioned the boundaries between species. Could an Illyrian truly feel this deeply for a human? Was it even possible to cross such a vast divide? And yet she knew she could not turn away. She wanted to be part of the human world, even in some small way, because it was alive, dangerous, and magnificent in a way Illyrians had never experienced. By the time the humans retired to their quarters, Lyra had made a silent decision.
She would not merely observe humans anymore.
She would learn from them, understand them, and in her own way connect with the spirit that made them so remarkable. It was the beginning of something unprecedented, a bridge between two species that could change the future of Illyria Prime, and perhaps the entire galaxy. And somewhere deep in her mind, Lyra whispered again, a mix of awe and longing, "I can't take it anymore, human. I want you so badly, not in desire, not in fear, but in the purest form of admiration, of fascination, of recognition that humans were extraordinary." Elena, unaware of the intensity of Lyra's thoughts, closed her eyes for a moment and felt something familiar stir within herself. Humans had always been explorers, risk-takers, dreamers. Now far from Earth, among the stars and strange alien minds, she realized that being human was not just about survival or technology. It was about courage, hope, and the strange, unexplainable spark that made them who they were. And on Illyria Prime, under a sky of colors no human had ever seen, a young Illyrian girl discovered something new too, something that would bind her in ways she did not yet fully understand. To the people from a distant blue planet called Earth. The next morning, the Illyrian sun rose in gentle streaks of gold and violet, casting a soft glow over the city. Captain Elena Voss and her team prepared for the day's mission, their minds focused on the energy field that threatened nearby star systems. The humans had studied the preliminary data, but the real challenge lay in understanding the complex interactions between the planet's unique energy patterns and the star systems it influenced. Lyra appeared as the humans were assembling their equipment, floating gracefully toward them. Her colors shifted subtly, a soft green indicating curiosity and cautious excitement. She had spent the night thinking about the humans, replaying their actions, their courage, and the strange pull she felt toward them. She knew that today she would need to be close, to learn, and perhaps to test the boundaries of what it meant to connect with another species. Elena noticed Lyra hovering nearby but offered her a warm smile. "Good morning," she said. "Are you coming with us today?" Lyra hesitated, her thoughts racing. Illyrians were not usually part of such missions. Their culture prized observation and careful study over direct involvement. But something about humans, their fearlessness, their resourcefulness, made her want to take a risk. I would like to assist, she replied, her voice soft but steady. The humans exchanged curious glances. Elena nodded. We'd appreciate your help. Just follow our instructions and stay safe. As they left the city, the humans and Lyra traveled in a sleek hovercraft across the crystalline plains. The Illyrian landscape was breathtaking. Towering crystal spires reflected the sun. Rivers of liquid light shimmered like ribbons, and strange floating creatures drifted lazily in the air. Lyra pointed out the subtle energy flows that humans might not notice, guiding them toward safe zones and warning them of sudden surges in the field. The closer they got to the heart of the unstable energy field, the more Elena realized how extraordinary the mission was. Instruments fluctuated unpredictably, showing readings that changed by the second. Human instincts became vital. While Illyrians preferred precise calculations and careful planning, humans made split-second decisions that balanced risk with intuition. Matteo, with his quick hands and steady nerves, adjusted the energy stabilizers as data streamed in, improvising solutions that no Illyrian protocol could have anticipated. Lyra floated near him, observing every movement. She was fascinated by how humans handled stress. Their faces remained focused, their hearts racing, but they did not freeze. Instead, they acted, adapting to each new challenge with creativity and courage. She had never seen anything like it. Illyrians valued intellect, but humans brought something different to the table: spirit. As the day progressed, a sudden spike in the energy field triggered alarms. A nearby star system began to show signs of collapse. The team had only minutes to respond. The Illyrians panicked slightly, their usual caution clashing with the urgency of the moment. Elena stepped forward calmly. "Trust us," she said firmly. "We've trained for this. Follow our lead." Humans and Illyrians worked together, but it was the human decisions that saved the operation. Matteo rerouted energy channels while Elena coordinated the team, calculating the most efficient way to stabilize the field. Lyra watched, heart pounding as the humans acted with a combination of courage, logic, and instinct. Her admiration for them grew stronger with every move. When the crisis was finally averted, the field stabilized, and the nearby star systems were safe. The humans cheered quietly, relieved but focused on the next task. Lyra hovered silently, overwhelmed by a mix of awe and emotion. She wanted to express her admiration, but words seemed insufficient. Instead, she allowed a soft wave of thought to ripple toward the humans, an unspoken acknowledgement of their bravery, resilience, and determination. During a brief rest, the team gathered near a glowing river of light. The Illyrians had created small energy spheres that provided warmth and comfort. Lyra floated near Elena, her colors shifting to a deep, gentle violet, a sign of admiration and deep fascination. "You handled that well," Elena said, noticing Lyra's presence. "You helped us more than you know." Lyra's mind flared with emotion. She wanted to say more, to explain the depth of her fascination, but her culture discouraged overt displays of attachment to another species. Instead, she nodded, her thoughts echoing silently. "Humans. They are extraordinary. I want to understand them fully." The humans resumed their work, adjusting instruments and analyzing data. Lyra stayed close, learning the human methods, noting their quick problem-solving and teamwork. She realized that humans were not just brave. They were connected to each other in ways Illyrians rarely experienced. They trusted each other, relied on instinct, and acted with both heart and mind. This combination was powerful, and she found herself drawn ever closer. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, Elena called the team together. "We've made progress today, but there's more to do," she said. "The energy field is vast and unpredictable. Tomorrow we continue." Lyra floated silently, feeling a mix of excitement and longing. She wanted to stay near these humans, to see more, to understand more. She was learning not just about the energy field, but about something deeper: the human spirit. That night, as the team settled into their quarters, Lyra stayed outside, watching. She reflected on the day's events, replaying the moments when humans had acted with courage and brilliance. She realized that her fascination had grown into something more profound. It was no longer mere curiosity. She wanted to be part of their world, even in some small way. Her thoughts whispered in the quiet of the night. "I can't take it anymore. I want to be near them, to understand them, to share their journey." She knew that humans might never fully realize the depth of her feelings, but that did not matter. What mattered was her connection, her admiration, and the recognition of something extraordinary in another species. The next morning, the humans began their mission again. This time they faced even greater challenges. The energy field had shifted overnight, creating unpredictable patterns. Human intuition became more important than ever. Elena led the team with calm authority, relying on their ability to adapt and improvise. Lyra floated nearby, guiding them subtly, sharing insights about the energy flow that only an Illyrian could perceive. As the day progressed, a new danger emerged. A sudden surge in the field caused instruments to overload, and a shockwave threatened to disrupt their work. The Illyrians froze, unsure of how to proceed. Elena did not hesitate. She directed Matteo and the others to take immediate action, relying on human creativity and quick thinking to stabilize the instruments. Lyra's admiration deepened. Humans did not just survive challenges, they faced them head-on with courage, ingenuity, and a will that refused to yield. She felt something inside her that was both thrilling and terrifying, a desire to be part of that spirit, to connect with it, to share it. By the end of the mission, the energy field had been partially stabilized, enough to prevent immediate disaster. The humans and Illyrians returned to the city, exhausted but satisfied. Lyra floated beside Elena, her mind full of emotions she could barely name. She had learned something incredible about humans, their resilience, their courage, and the way they inspired others simply by being who they were. That evening, Lyra allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection. She whispered softly, almost to herself, "I can't take it anymore. I want you so badly." It was not a declaration of desire in a physical sense. It was longing for connection, for understanding, for closeness with beings who embodied something extraordinary. Elena, unaware of the depth of Lyra's thoughts, reflected on the humans' achievements that day. She knew that humans were special not because of technology or strength, but because of their spirit, their ability to face danger, to adapt, and to act with courage even when everything seemed uncertain. And Lyra, floating silently in the alien night, felt a connection she could not deny. Humans were extraordinary. Their hearts, minds, and actions had created something that no Illyrian technology could replicate. She wanted to be near them, to learn from them, and to share in their journey. It was the beginning of a bond that neither species could have predicted, a bond born of admiration, respect, and the recognition of something extraordinary in humanity. Lyra knew that her fascination had grown into a quiet, unshakable devotion to understanding humans, and she could not turn away. Under the glowing skies of Illyria Prime, the humans rested, unaware that their courage and spirit had left a mark on a young Illyrian girl, a mark that would shape the future of interstellar relations, and perhaps change the galaxy itself. The following morning, Illyria Prime glimmered under the soft light of its twin suns. The humans and their Illyrian guides returned to the energy field, which had grown more unstable overnight. The readings were alarming. Small ripples in the field were rapidly spreading toward nearby star systems. Captain Elena Voss knew that time was critical. If they failed, entire planets could face catastrophic destruction. The humans had grown accustomed to Illyria's alien environment, but the constant unpredictability tested their limits. Instruments beeped and hummed, showing patterns that changed faster than anyone could predict. Lyra floated beside them, offering insights from her knowledge of the planet's subtle energy currents. She had been learning from the humans for days, observing how they adapted to chaos, and her admiration for their resilience had only grown. However, not all Illyrians were pleased with the humans' involvement. A group of senior Illyrian scientists, skeptical of humanity's unpredictable nature, voiced their concerns. They argued that humans were reckless, that their improvisation could worsen the situation. Their voices were calm but edged with tension, and their emotions, sent telepathically, carried a sharp undercurrent of mistrust. Elena faced the opposition with her usual composure. "We understand your concerns," she said, "but humans have a unique way of handling unpredictable situations. Our instincts, experience, and teamwork make us capable of managing risks that might paralyze even the most careful minds." The Illyrians murmured among themselves, some unconvinced. Lyra, however, hovered silently, her colors flickering a soft turquoise, the sign of calm determination. She felt strongly that humans' courage and creativity were exactly what the mission needed. Her admiration for their abilities had deepened into something more profound, a sense of connection that she could not ignore. As they entered the unstable region of the energy field, a sudden surge rocked the instruments. The human team reacted instantly. Matteo adjusted the energy stabilizers. Elena coordinated the team's movements, and the others followed instructions with precision. Lyra observed, fascinated by how humans did not panic. Instead, they assessed the situation, made quick decisions, and acted decisively. She realized that humans thrived in situations Illyrians considered too dangerous, too unpredictable to handle. One of the senior Illyrian scientists raised an alarm. "This is too dangerous. You are risking everything." His warning rippled through the minds of everyone nearby. But Elena remained steadfast. "Trust us," she said firmly. "We've faced danger before. We can do this together." Lyra felt a surge of emotion she could barely contain. Humans were not just surviving. They were shaping the outcome through courage and intelligence. Her admiration turned into a fierce respect. She wanted to support them, to be part of their efforts, but she also feared the judgment of her own species. Illyrians valued caution and calculation over instinct. Lyra's fascination with humans had led her to step outside her usual boundaries, and it frightened her as much as it thrilled her. As the surge intensified, a massive shockwave threatened to destabilize the entire field. The humans acted quickly. Elena coordinated the stabilizers, Matteo rerouted the energy, and their teamwork created a delicate balance that prevented disaster. Lyra's heart raced as she observed the humans' bravery. She had seen fear before, but never had she witnessed a species face it so directly, transforming it into action and success. When the crisis passed, the Illyrian skeptics looked at the humans with new eyes. Even they could not deny the results. The energy field had stabilized, at least temporarily, and the star systems nearby were safe. Elena exhaled, exhausted but satisfied. "Good work, everyone. We've made progress, but this is far from over." Lyra floated closer, her colors shifting to a soft violet, a sign of admiration and deep emotional intensity. She wanted to express the depth of her feelings, to share how profoundly humans had impressed her, but words felt inadequate. Instead, she allowed a quiet wave of thought to ripple toward them, carrying her respect, her awe, and her desire to understand. The humans, unaware of the intensity of Lyra's thoughts, continued their work. She followed them closely, assisting in ways that only an Illyrian could, guiding their instruments and warning them of subtle energy fluctuations. She had come to realize that humans were extraordinary, not just for their courage, but for their ability to inspire trust and confidence in others, even across species. As the day wore on, tensions grew. The energy field became more erratic, and the Illyrian skeptics whispered warnings of imminent danger. Some argued that humans should leave immediately, that their involvement was too unpredictable. Lyra, however, could not accept that. She saw what humans brought to the mission: their creativity, intuition, and indomitable spirit. She knew that abandoning them would be a mistake, both for the mission and for the Illyrians' understanding of what other species could achieve. During a particularly dangerous moment, a sudden spike threatened to overload the instruments. The Illyrians hesitated, unsure of how to respond. Elena did not. She acted instantly, giving clear commands and guiding her team with calm authority. Matteo adjusted the energy flow while others followed her lead. Lyra floated nearby, assisting where she could, her mind racing to keep up with the humans' rapid decisions. When the spike finally subsided, the humans had prevented a disaster that could have destroyed nearby planets. The Illyrians who had doubted them were silent, their mistrust replaced with a grudging respect. Lyra, however, felt more than respect. She felt a connection, a recognition of something extraordinary in the human spirit. Her admiration had evolved into a quiet, unshakable devotion to understanding them, to being near them, and to sharing in their journey. That night, as the humans rested, Lyra floated outside, gazing at the glowing rivers and crystal spires of Illyria Prime. She thought about everything she had witnessed: the humans' courage, their intelligence, and their ability to face danger with calm determination. She realized that her fascination was no longer mere curiosity. It had become something deeper, a desire to connect with humans in a way Illyrians had never experienced before. Her mind whispered softly, "I can't take it anymore. I want you so badly." It was not a desire for physical closeness, but a longing to understand, to share, and to be part of the human's extraordinary world. She knew that humans might never fully realize the depth of her feelings, but that did not matter. What mattered was the connection, the recognition of something remarkable in a species that defied expectation and inspired awe. The following day brought new challenges. The energy field was growing increasingly unstable, and the humans had to rely on both their ingenuity and their ability to work as a team. Lyra assisted them in subtle ways, offering insights that only an Illyrian could perceive. She became more confident in her role, not just as an observer but as a participant. During a critical moment, an unexpected surge threatened to collapse part of the field. Human reflexes combined with quick calculations prevented disaster. Lyra watched with awe as Elena coordinated the team, Matteo improvised, and the humans acted with courage and precision. She felt a surge of pride and admiration, emotions so intense that she could hardly contain them. By the end of the day, the humans had achieved a partial stabilization of the energy field. Illyrian skeptics could no longer deny the value of human intuition and courage. Lyra floated beside Elena, her mind full of emotions she had never experienced before. She realized that humans were extraordinary, not just for their physical abilities or intelligence, but for the way they faced challenges with a combination of courage, creativity, and moral strength. That night, Lyra allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection. She whispered again softly to the empty sky, "I can't take it anymore. I want you so badly." It was a declaration of admiration, of fascination, and of recognition that humans were capable of greatness in ways Illyrians had never imagined. Elena, unaware of the depth of Lyra's emotions, reflected on the humans' achievements that day. She understood that their strength came from more than technology or training. It came from spirit, from the ability to face uncertainty with courage, and from the willingness to act even when the outcome was unknown. Lyra, floating silently under the alien sky, knew that her connection with humans had grown deeper than she could have imagined. She had crossed boundaries, defied expectations, and discovered something extraordinary. Humans were not just a new species to study. They were a source of inspiration, a challenge, and a connection that could change the way Illyrians saw the universe. As she watched the twin suns dip below the horizon, Lyra realized that the humans had shown her something invaluable. They were brave, resourceful, and capable of acts that Illyrians could not have imagined. And she, in turn, would follow them, support them, and learn from them. Her fascination had become devotion. Her admiration had become a bond, and she knew that the journey ahead would be as extraordinary as the humans themselves. Under the shimmering skies of Illyria Prime, the humans rested unaware of the impact they had made, and Lyra, a young Illyrian girl, discovered a new kind of connection, one born of respect, admiration, and recognition of the human spirit. It was a bond that would guide the next steps of their mission, and perhaps change the course of interstellar history forever. The next morning, the sky above Illyria Prime shimmered with a soft golden glow. The energy field that had threatened nearby star systems was now fully active, its instability more dangerous than ever. Captain Elena Voss gathered her team at the edge of the crystalline plains. They could see the delicate balance of the field shifting before their eyes, sending ripples across the planet's atmosphere. Each movement of energy was unpredictable, chaotic, and potentially catastrophic. Elena's mind raced, but she felt calm. Humans had faced impossible odds before, and their resilience had always shone brightest under pressure. Matteo and the other engineers adjusted the instruments, while Lyra hovered nearby, providing subtle guidance based on her intimate understanding of the planet's energy flows. She had learned so much from the humans over the past days. Their courage, creativity, and determination had not only stabilized parts of the field but had earned the reluctant respect of many Illyrians who had doubted them. A sudden surge shot through the instruments, sending sparks and waves of light across the monitoring panels. The senior Illyrian scientists panicked, their voices and emotions overlapping in a cacophony of alarm. But Elena did not hesitate. She stepped forward, her voice calm and commanding. "Everyone stay focused. We faced danger before and we can handle it. Trust your instincts. Trust each other." The humans acted immediately. Matteo recalibrated the energy stabilizers, improvising adjustments that no Illyrian protocol could have predicted. Others reinforced the containment shields and rerouted power through auxiliary channels. Lyra watched mesmerized as humans turned fear into action. Their decisions were fast, precise, and yet filled with creativity. They were not merely following instructions, they were shaping the outcome with instinct and courage. One particularly large surge threatened to collapse a nearby star system. The Illyrians froze, their usual caution preventing them from acting quickly. Lyra's mind raced, torn between fear for her people and admiration for the humans who faced the surge without hesitation. She knew she had to trust them, as they had proven themselves capable time and again. Elena noticed the hesitation and made a split-second decision. Matteo, reroute the energy flow through Sector 9. Everyone else, stabilize the containment field manually. Matteo's fingers flew across the controls. The energy surged violently, bending the instruments, but the humans did not waver. Their teamwork, intuition, and courage shone brighter than any technology. Lyra floated near, guiding them subtly, warning of fluctuations that only she could detect. Her colors shifted to a brilliant turquoise, showing her deep focus and emotional engagement. In a moment of near disaster, the humans' quick thinking prevented the shockwave from spreading. The field stabilized, the instruments calmed, and the star systems were safe. The Illyrians who had doubted humanity were silent, their mistrust replaced with awe. Lyra felt a rush of emotions: relief, pride, and a deep, unshakable admiration for humans. She realized that they were extraordinary, not only in action but in spirit. As the sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows across the crystal spires, Elena gathered her team for a final assessment. "We've done it," she said softly. "The field is stable for now, but our work here proves something more important. Humans can face chaos, fear, and uncertainty, and come out stronger on the other side. That is a strength that cannot be measured by instruments alone." Lyra hovered nearby, her mind swirling with thoughts and emotions. She had witnessed humans' courage, resourcefulness, and unwavering spirit. Her fascination had grown into something deeper, a profound recognition of their extraordinary nature. She felt an irresistible pull toward them, a desire not just to observe but to connect and learn from their resilience. Later that night, the humans rested in their quarters while Lyra drifted above the city. The glowing rivers and crystal towers reflected the light of the twin suns, creating a kaleidoscope of colors that shimmered across the sky. She thought about everything she had seen: humans facing impossible odds, making decisions under pressure, and inspiring trust and hope in others. She realized that their strength was not only in their intellect or technology, but in their spirit, their courage, empathy, and determination. Her thoughts whispered softly, almost to herself, "I can't take it anymore. I want you so badly." It was not a desire of the body, but a longing to understand, to be near, and to share in the humans' remarkable journey. She had crossed boundaries that Illyrians rarely crossed, and she knew that her connection to humans was something unique, something that could change not only her life, but the future of interstellar relations. The next day, the humans and Lyra returned to the field one last time to finalize their work. This time the energy field had become even more erratic, but the humans were prepared. They worked in perfect synchronization, combining intellect, creativity, and instinct. Lyra guided them where needed, sharing her knowledge of subtle energy patterns, while humans improvised solutions and acted with courage. Suddenly, a massive surge threatened the field again. The instruments blared warnings and the Illyrian scientists panicked. But Elena stepped forward, calm and resolute. "We've faced worse. We can do this. Trust each other. And act." Matteo and the other humans adjusted the stabilizers with lightning speed. The surge pulsed violently, but their teamwork held it in check. Lyra floated near, her colors flashing brilliant shades of turquoise and violet, reflecting her intense focus and admiration. She marveled at how humans turned fear into action, uncertainty into progress. Their spirit was unstoppable. After a tense few minutes, the surge finally subsided. The energy field stabilized completely. The star systems were safe, and the Illyrians who had doubted humanity were now silent with awe. Lyra felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She realized that humans had not only saved planets but had inspired a new understanding among the Illyrians. Their courage and ingenuity had bridged the gap between species. Elena turned to her team, exhausted but proud. "We've accomplished something incredible today. not just stabilizing the field, but proving that humans can make a difference, even in situations others think impossible. Lyra floated close, her mind filled with emotions she could not fully express. She wanted to convey her admiration, her respect, and her desire to be near humans in a meaningful way. She reached out subtly with her thoughts, sharing a wave of recognition and connection with the humans she had come to admire. The humans, sensing the sincerity in her presence, smiled. They did not fully understand the depth of Lyra's feelings, but they felt the connection, the bond that had grown over days of shared challenge and triumph. It was a bond forged through courage, trust, and mutual respect. As night fell on Illyria Prime, the sky glowed with shimmering colors, and Lyra allowed herself a quiet moment of reflection. She whispered softly, almost in awe, "I can't take it anymore." Humans are extraordinary. Her fascination had grown into devotion, her admiration into a profound connection. She knew that humans had changed her life, just as she had changed theirs in subtle but important ways. Elena, sitting by the glowing river, reflected on the mission. She realized that humans were capable of more than survival or ingenuity. Their spirit, their courage, empathy, and resilience was something unique, something that could inspire entire civilizations. Humans had proven that they could face any challenge, adapt, and emerge stronger. Lyra's thoughts wandered to the humans she had come to admire. She had crossed cultural and emotional boundaries, discovering something extraordinary in their spirit. She wanted to continue learning from them, to share in their journey, and to support them in the challenges yet to come. Her fascination had become a quiet, unwavering devotion to humanity. In the days that followed, the humans completed their mission with Illyrian assistance. The energy field was fully stabilized, the star systems were safe, and the Illyrians had gained a new understanding of human capability. Lyra worked closely with the humans, assisting in ways only she could, and forming a bridge of trust and admiration between their species. Elena noticed Lyra's dedication and unique insight. "You've been incredible," she said softly. "Your help made a real difference." Lyra's mind responded with a wave of gratitude and recognition. She had found a purpose alongside humans, a way to connect that went beyond observation. By the time the mission concluded, the humans had earned the respect of the Illyrians. Their courage, creativity, and moral strength had proved invaluable, and the younger Illyrians, inspired by their example, began to reconsider their own approach to challenges. Lyra, in particular, had grown in confidence and understanding. Her fascination with humans had transformed into a deep respect and connection that would last far beyond this mission. Under the twin suns of Illyria Prime, the humans and Lyra looked out at the horizon. The world was safe, the mission accomplished, and bonds had been formed that transcended species. Lyra whispered softly, a mix of awe and longing in her mind. "I can't take it anymore. I want to be near them, to learn from them, to share in their journey." Elena turned to her team, smiling, unaware of the depth of connection that had formed between humans and Illyrians. She reflected on what she had learned. Humans were extraordinary not because of technology or intellect alone, but because of courage and